extremely excited about. But in normal fashion, gentlemen, how we doing tonight on this Wednesday? I know we just met last night, but things change in a day, you know? Things happen, things change. How we all doing? We all feeling all right? We all feeling good?
Good. Yeah, real good. Real good.
Okay, good, good.
Ecstatic.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. We're joined by the normal cast here, Kevin, Adam, Desonoda will be here shortly, and myself, Genesis. Gentlemen, we won't be going over what we played, obviously, because we just did that yesterday. But, Kevin, why don't
Uh-huh.
you take the lead on the special topic we're going to be covering tonight?
Ba-na-na, ba-na-na, time for an emergency broadcast. um, yeah, so today Valve decided to drop the news that Counter-Strike 2 was going to be a thing officially after many, many, many signs of this being in production to some extent. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, we've been working on this for a hot minute. They dropped three tech videos about tick rates on servers, overhauling maps and graphics and lighting, and oh my god, and even colors. Thank God they're finally making colors pop out again. And also a video on the new smoke grenades. And then, to top all that off, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, Counter Strike Global Offensive with the update that came out, like the normal update for the game that came out today. Check the top of the screen when you launch that game and see if you have a banner that says you're invited to limited access beta. Because if you got it, you can play CS2 right here, right now. And people lost it, myself included. Um, I watched a few reaction videos from people that I like. I watched Shroud streaming it. It looks really good. We got some additional options on top of all the things they showed off in videos. Surprisingly, a lot to talk about that has leaked out. I'm glad it's just a limited access beta right now because it's only one map that is they're showing off at the moment. But the video on map updates leads me to believe that they're going to be adding a lot more people into this and potentially going into like a full-on open beta scenario in the future. Um,
I'm sure you'll be super excited if that
oh
happens
my
to
god, let's go!
come to fruition.
But like this update is definitely like almost done. The release date is summer 2023. I don't think it's getting pushed back unless like some drastic networking error or something comes up during all this beta testing. But it's literally an update for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, so really, in theory, not much should break. Um, but yeah, I don't know where we start here. There's a lot of information.
So I have a suggestion for plebs and idiots like me. Can you explain Counter Strike in a short summation of like what this is and what are
Oh
the
boy.
what are the things we're seeing in Counter Strike 2 versus Counter Strike the original?
So, okay. Counter-Strike has been out about 20 years or so now. Um, Originally was a mod for Half-Life that some random dude made, forgot his name. Uh, and then Valve was like, "Huh, this is pretty cool. This is something." And the mod gained a lot of traction. There were a lot of people playing it. And then all of a sudden, Valve was like, "Here, fat check. We own this now." And the guy was like, "Sweet." I don't remember if he worked for them or not after that point. That's whatever. But Valve liked it enough to actually buy the mod and ran with it. And we got a whole bunch of Counter Strike, Counter Strike Source, Counter Strike Condition Zero, which I never played because I didn't hear anything good about that. Counter Strike for Xbox, Counter Strike Global Offensive. Um, and here we are with CS2 on the horizon. I'm going to call it that because that's what it's officially called in the Steam update. I don't know if it's going to be CSGO 2. I would like it to just be Counter Strike 2, and then we could do some subtitles thereafter. Um, the reason why it's CS2 is because it's a massive engine change, and it seems to be kind of resetting the main mechanics of the game. So Counter Strike has always been about not necessarily realism, but like it was all about the gunplay and the strategy. Gunplay is very specific in Counter Strike. You have a lot of recoil on guns. You have to fight the recoil, or you have to like tap the trigger to make very precise shots on people. Headshots do insane damage. Guns do really good damage all over, really.
As they
Um,
should, Call of
yep,
Duty, as they should.
yeah, yeah. And you go back all the way to the first Counter Strike game. You had armor, which sort of absorbed the impact of shots. You're able to move a little better while being hit. And then you had a helmet, which would break if you got headshot. So it kind of like saves you
Call of Duty.
ish. Only certain, yeah, right. Certain guns could pierce through it. But those made the ones that could made sense. Other ones that kind of like saved you a little bit. Um, but unlike most shooters out there, like armor and helmets, they weren't meant to like be a number over your health. Your armor always outlasts you, um, which is how it works in the real world as well. Uh, but I wouldn't call it like a realistic game at all, because there's a lot of weird
Oh
movement
God.
things that don't happen in real life. But it's a very specific movement style system. If you move around with a gun in real life, like obviously when you go to shoot, you kind of have like full control over it. This game really says, okay, what if like you're moving with this gun, but if you don't directly have control over the gun as you're moving around, then you don't. It's too bad. So like going all the way back to the original, you had things like if you were moving in a certain direction and let go of the movement key, you would come to a stop, not stop right away. So you had to do the stutter step thing, step in the opposite direction to come to a dead stop, so you could be fully accurate to shoot. And Counter-Strike Source introduced more physics, so you could actually like manipulate grenades around walls and stuff if you sidestepped and backpedaled and whatnot correctly. It made no sense at all, but that's fine. It was a neat mechanic anyway. Led to a lot of weird strategies. And then Global Offensive came out, and it's been out for freaking ever, it seems. Um, that one really didn't change a whole lot of mechanical play. They kind of tried to rebalance like everything that they had put in the game. Um, it worked out pretty well. Then they tried to introduce new guns, and they didn't really go great when they introduced the revolver. That was kind of stupid, but I don't remember if that actually still exists in the game or not. But the USPS and the M4A1S that they reintroduced in the Global Offensive, that worked out really well for them. So hey, 2 out of 3. Um, and then they kept refining maps in Global Offensive. Well, again, like Global Offensive has really been just like them looking at the game and saying like, all right, how do we like improve on everything? They went all the way down to the what made Counter Strike and challenged themselves to like rebalance out everything. They did a pretty solid job of it overall. You started to see a lot more guns in competitive play. A lot more different tactics started showing up as throwable grenades and whatnot became more of a game-changing factor. You have like bomb site assaults where everybody just starts chucking stuff in very precise locations. Um, and yeah, it's the game has been around for so long, and while yes, it has changed, not a whole lot of change has happened. So like strategy kind of moves from game to game, and like general plans of attack still work. You just kind of gotta see where they add random boxes or like if they extend out a building or shorten a building and other things like this. If that how that affects whatever already was in the game. Um, but yeah, it's basically remained the same kind of thing. It's centered around gunplay and strategy. You have one life to live, search and destroy sort of thing. You plant the bomb, defuse the bomb if it's planted, kill the other team, and you win. Um, or you do hostage rescue, which really hasn't like gained a lot of traction over the years. But there are people who like to play the maps that the hostage rescue stuff is on. Um, two big maps are Office and Italy. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It's that's basically what it is. A tactical
Okay.
shooter, I guess. Uh,
Okay.
you could make a very good argument that Rainbow Six Siege is just everything Counter Strike is, but better. The only thing that isn't better about Rainbow Six Siege is movement, because Rainbow Six Siege's movement is very different. It's a lot more verticality than Counter Strike's just moving around in precise movement.
Okay. Cool. Any questions for Kevin? Adam, you got anything?
No.
Okay. Mm.
Just another welcome.
That's another welcome.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
well, I guess I'll just
Uh,
keep going. So now we have Counter Strike 2, and this is already changing a lot. Aesthetically, the game is getting a lot more color, thank God. Um, on the main website, I believe it's Counter-Strike hyphenated.net/CS2. There's little like graphical pictures where you can slide the image like side to side to see what it looked like in Global Offensive and what it will look like in Counter-Strike 2. Everything is so much more lit up and vibrant and colorful, and oh my God, I love it. It's like you in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, you're like suffering with half cataracts versus what it's about to look like, or like you have sunglasses on.
Mhm.
Everything's just so much darker and drabber, and now in
Everything's
CS2,
gray.
it's going to be so much color. Um, but yeah, there's that which we're going to get used to. Um, Supposedly the movement is slightly different, although I can't really tell from the little bit of streaming I caught. They added an option in for the crosshair. It's probably like a new dynamic crosshair. So in Global Offensive, they added a dynamic crosshair, kind of similar to like Call of Duty, where as you shoot, it spreads out in a more precise way to show like where your spread pattern is. Because the game's always had it, but it's been kind of shit. Um, except for a few cases where like back in Counter-Strike 1.5 and 1.6, if you had the crosshair set to default, the M4A1 kind of like when the top stick bloomed all the way out, that's sort of like where you aim was at the very top of that stick, and you do pretty good. But anyway, um, they added a new dynamic crosshair which actually follows the gun. So as you shoot and it recoils, your crosshair is actually bouncing around on the screen. A little jarring at first, but I kind of like it, and I can't wait to play around with that because I think I'll actually thoroughly enjoy that. I might have to like make it a little bit less opaque or less like noticeable if I can, just to so there isn't a random object bouncing all over the screen where you're supposed to be like tracking enemies. But it looks really cool, and it doesn't really look like it would throw me too poorly or too bad. Um, they're completely changing smoke grenades. I think that should just be a separate topic on its own. Smoke grenades are nuts now. Molotovs look weird. I don't know how I feel about the fire effect from Molotovs. It doesn't seem right. The flames at the bottom are like a magenta color when I feel like they should be blue. Um, but hey, what else are they changing? They're changing up the sounds. Sound design as a whole is a lot more precise over distance, which is good. Um, it'll help out new players, especially those who have been playing like long enough to know where people like to go. It didn't really matter that the sound kind of like sucked because when you would hear it, you're like, oh, okay, that person's probably like right around in this area, just because you know where people tend to go. But new players aren't going to like have that knowledge, so having a much more precise 3D audio is going to be really nice for them.
Call of Duty.
Um,
A lot of cues Call of Duty could take from this, and they just don't. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? What do you do on a daily basis? Oh
and
yeah,
another,
you bang your heads in the wall. That's what you do.
yeah, then another massive thing, which this is hard to like
Yeah.
describe to people who haven't played the game. Has anybody here played Counter Strike?
I've not. I have not. I've
I
only
played
seen
maybe
some
like a
videos.
few rounds at most.
Okay, so the switching off of tick rate servers and adding in this architecture that does sub tick rate calculations is going to be absolutely massive. I have no idea how they're pulling this off because it basically seems like your information is being fed to the server in real time, and the server is interpolating all of the information it's getting from all players in real time, which is wild to me that they can pull that off. But I guess they can because Valve is made of money. Um, so what this means is before you would have 64 tick rate servers within the game. Most people hated that because it didn't update often enough. So basically, the game is updating um, about 64 times a second, which in a game like Counter Strike, milliseconds matter very much so. So if you did an action and an update didn't happen yet, that you technically haven't done that action until the update happens, and it can mean the difference between missing a shot and hitting a shot, or you peeking out and getting the information that there's a player there before the other player sees you peek out. Weird stuff. Um, so people didn't play on the official servers a whole lot once they made it up to like higher ranks. They would actually go over to ESEA servers, which ESEA is like a sort of friendly competitive. I want to say like casual competitive because you can still have tournaments in it, but like a more competitive scene where you can like match up around your skill base, and it did more accurate matchmaking than the game did. Those servers were 128 tick rate, so double the updates. They were a lot more accurate. People were able to do different things, and this actually became a bit of a problem with the competitive scene because if you watch competitive Counter Strike and you tried to do some of the things they do in that, like they're on LAN, they're using really high tick rates, probably 128 plus. If you try to do some of the same things in a 64 tick rate server, you're going to have mixed results because it's just not updating the information fast enough. Um, so having it switch off of that and basically update in like real time or close enough to real time is going to be wild. There's going to be so much more room for players that aren't like good at the game to get better because they're gonna actually be able to like see themselves improving more as opposed to like fumbling around and like how do I want to word this? You'll see that you're getting better sooner because you'll have the same result over and over again as opposed to like, oh, I missed that shot. Why did I miss that shot? I feel like I should have landed that shot. Am I doing something wrong? Am I shooting wrong? Um, and it's going to be big for like every game in this genre because I feel like Valorant isn't even at this point yet, and Valorant is definitely Counter Strike's main competitor right now. And honestly, I think Valorant's doing better until CS2 drops. Then I think there's going to be a real good competition going on. So smoke grenades change everything about this game. As soon as CS2 drops, the entirety of the competitive scene, well, they'll probably all be in the limited beta, so they'll get to play around with it before tournaments switch over to CS2. But once they do, all tactics that have been used up to this point are meaningless. These smoke grenades change the game that much because these smoke
I
grenades are nuts.
Yeah, I saw the video on it. The smoke grenades are actually insane. Though that thing is crazy. Gunshots can
This,
affect it. Grenades can affect
oh,
it. It
I'm
it
so
envelops
ready.
different spaces, like different like Call of Duty. Take some notes. You got to do smoke grenades like that. Like smoke grenades should not be the stupid gray, dark gray cloud that takes just a circle of space up on a map. Like
Hmm.
this thing, if you shoot through it, it will clear the smoke for a little bit until it starts to envelop the area again. And just they did a demo where like they threw it into like a closed, looked like a stairwell going down of like a
Hmm.
stairwell corridor, and it filled the entire corridor to like the top and the bottom. And then they put it in a room with like uh, a couple of objects in the middle and things like that, and envelop the objects, but there was less smoke around the edges. Like
Hmm.
you could see there was less smoke around the outer areas because it was using more smoke to envelop around the objects and things like that. Because now the objects are taking up space in the smoke
Yeah,
grenade. Um, that's really cool. That alone
crazy.
is a really cool mechanic. Sorry, Kevin. I saw that video
No,
and I
no,
was like,
no. You're
damn,
good.
that's cool.
Anytime somebody else can jump in, it'd be great because I realize this is gonna be mostly me talking. Um, But the fact that you can also throw a grenade into a smoke grenade to basically nullify it for a few seconds because it blows all the smoke away. I don't know if that's realistic or not. I don't care if it's realistic or not. That's an amazing gameplay element, and it opens up so much more strategy with those smoke grenades because you can have somebody else drop a grenade into a smoke to make it disperse for a sniper on your team to pull off a shot real quick and then duck behind whatever they're standing next to or something like that. You can also use a smoke grenade offensively now, not just to deny vision from the other team. If you have a very good idea or you know somebody is somewhere, you just throw the smoke grenade directly at them and then follow it up with a grenade. because every grenade in Counter Strike makes a slightly different noise when it bounces off of something. So people will know when you throw the smoke grenade, and they'll know when the grenade is thrown. So they're going to have to try to move away from the grenade to not take as much damage from it. The grenade is going to clear the smoke grenade while they're moving away. You can move up this entire time and just start unloading on them when the smoke vanishes. Um, it's the amount of like strategies that you can do with smoke grenades now. It's absolutely wild. I can't wait. This is gonna be so freaking cool. Shooting through smoke has always been like an interesting game of guesswork, and now you could have somebody like bait someone to shoot at them through the smoke because you see other players' tracers through smoke. So you can bait somebody into shooting through the smoke to clear little bits so that someone else looking through the smoke at a different angle might be able to see that person clearly and kill them. Like it's crazy because now smoke grenades are a physical 3D object as opposed to this weird pseudo 3D object that allowed for really weird gameplay mechanics to happen. Um, I don't
Has
know
any
if
other
people have heard of this. What?
has any other game ever done something like this with the smoke grenades?
I want to say America's Army did to an extent, not
Mm.
this detailed, but a smoke grenade that actually like smoke is coming from this object and it is filling up this area. Um, and actually did it in like a 3D sort of way. Um, but the thing with smoke grenades before this, there were a lot of what they call one-way smokes, where depending on how you threw the grenade, how it landed, and how it would go off, if you were standing in certain spots, it was as if the smoke grenade wasn't there at all, and you could just see, whereas everybody else would see the smoke grenade. So it was always like this thing that had to constantly be updated in competitive rule sheets, um, where like, oh, if you use this one-way smoke here, you'll be banned. If you do this here, you'll be banned. If you boost over here, you'll be banned. Oh my god, the list goes on and on for competitive banning. Um, but with these smoke grenades, supposedly, and I believe them based on the tech demo stuff that we saw, there really isn't any reason to ban anybody for smoke grenades anymore unless somebody figures out how to completely break this system. Um, it looks really good. The lighting is incredible now. Oh my god. Um, everything looks really nice. Sounds really nice. Can't wait to play around with these smoke grenades. It's going to completely change Counter Strike. Um, so now the little hints, the little secrets, the little Easter eggs that are in all these videos, because I watched these numerous times to find out as much as I could. All right, so why I think the limited beta that is out right now is just the beginning, and why I think they're going to continue to add people in. Like I said, there's only one map, Dust 2, the map of Counter Strike. Makes sense to lead off with this one. Get like professional players in there, get a little bit of exposure so people can see how these mechanics work in real time, and get some hype going. But when you're watching the video about leveling up the maps, improving maps, map design, lighting, when they're in the first set, the touchstone maps, they do make a point to say that these maps are like the touchstones of Counter Strike. People know these maps. These are the maps we didn't want to touch for CS2 so that we can get input from everybody about the systems that we are changing because everyone knows these maps like the back of their hand. And that's completely accurate. So I think they're going to very slowly add more and more of these maps in. They're going to add Dust 2, Mirage. Well, they already have Dust 2. They're going to add Mirage. They're going to add Nuke, Inferno, um, possibly Aztec. Aztec was shown briefly, but that would be kind of an out there addition because that hasn't been in the game for a hot minute. Um, but I think they're just going to slowly trickle out these maps that like everybody knows. They're going to be mostly unchanged except for like lighting and cosmetic kind of stuff, so everyone can play around with the new mechanics and point out everything that like they feel like is wrong to some sort of extent. And that's a fantastic idea. And then later on in that video, we see clips of Italy, which has not been in Counter Strike Global Offensive to date. So that map is coming back. Um, like I said, we see Aztec, so that should be coming back. Um, I thought at one point I saw another map, but I couldn't really figure out what it was. I thought maybe Havana, but I don't think that that map is coming back. That wasn't really a well received map. Then Nuke looks slightly different in spots. It looks like they're making some big changes to the bomb site areas. Things are looking a lot less cluttered in a good way. There's a lot like thinner objects to hide behind around the bomb sites, so that should be a lot more interesting for both sides defending and attacking into the bomb sites because there's going to be a lot more angles to see people from. Um, so yeah, there was that. What else did I notice? Molotovs look like they cover more space now. That or like the animation is very deceiving. Um, but it looked like Molotovs sort of spread a little better and a little bit more randomly too, which could be interesting.
Saw a lot of comments with Molotovs in the videos that I watched. They're like,
Yeah,
"Look at the Molotov." I was like, "Oh,
it looks way different. I'm hoping what I hope for is that it's kind of similar to the smoke grenade, or they're trying to get it there where like if you throw a Molotov into a tighter area, it's actually gonna spread like farther. That'd be kind of cool. Um, because that would really help with like flushing out certain sniping spots in some of the maps, like Inferno behind the car. If you could ignite more of that area, it forces the sniper to have to jump out instead of walk out. Because unlike Call of Duty, if you jump in this game, you're not hitting anything.
good,
Well, you can.
fucking
There's been some really
stupid
funny tournament things where somebody jumps and like
Call of
just
Duty."
fires and randomly hits someone in the head.
Yeah, that's fine. You randomly do it, not you can intentionally shoot someone
You're
when
right.
you're jumping, bunny hopping across a map like a fucking idiot. Stupid
Um,
ass Call of Duty.
so that looked interesting. Another thing, they already confirmed this, but to like just reconfirm it, throughout the videos, there's a bunch of global offensive skins for weapons, which means all of this stuff is moving straight into Counter Strike 2. Um, the soccer ball on Dust 2 you can now kick around. Hell yeah. And everybody can see it in real time as opposed to some weird choppy teleporty sort of ball because the tick rate has been changed. If anything, that really solidifies just how much of a difference that's going to make because everybody can watch that thing move and it's in the same spot on everyone's screen. It's wild. Um,
This is a free upgrade to anybody who
free
owns
upgrade.
Counter
Yeah,
Strike, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's just an update to the game. So Counter Strike Global Offensive is becoming CS2. They took a page from Path of Exile to Path of Exile 2's book, and they said we can do that too. And honestly, good call.
Good way to do it.
Um, because really on their end, all they're doing is moving it from the Source engine to the Source 2 engine. So there you go. I say all they're doing. There's a lot more than that, but like, yeah. Um, so that was a lot of fun. Um, then I watched some reaction videos, and I hadn't watched all the tech demo videos by themselves until I watched the reaction from Tim the Tatman, and we both had the same reaction. This is how you know you've played too much Counter Strike. So it's going through all the maps in the video, and it gets to this just a market stand with produce, and after it's been on the screen for like a second and a half, at the same time, me and Tim Tatman were both like, oh, Italy, because we knew it was that map. Um, ah, it's gonna be so great. I've been so excited all day for this. I'm not in the limited beta. I didn't expect to be in limited beta, but I'm gonna be putting some time into this game to hopefully get in at some point, and I'll let y'all know if I do. Because clearly
What's
there's no NDA. People are streaming it already. Um,
this is just PC obviously. This is not expected to ever
yes.
come on consoles.
Okay, so I don't know. I hope there's plans because I believe Valorant either has plans or maybe they've come out on Xbox. There's a thing with Game Pass for Valorant. I don't know if anybody wants to like try to look this up. My phone is not near me.
I
But
think it's just to
apparently,
unlock all the characters,
yeah, if you have
like
Game Pass,
League.
you unlock all the characters. I don't know if that means it's going to Xbox at some point. I thought there were plans to put it on consoles, but I could be wrong. Um, Counter Strike was supposed to come to PlayStation. on PS4 when Valve did Portal 2 and like half put Steam on, but it never became anything. So we'll see how that goes. Um,
When were
but
they
yeah,
supposed to put that on PS4? I don't remember that at all.
yeah, Portal 2.
Really?
Unless Portal 2 is PS3, I could be wrong.
I think it's PS3. Adam, confirm?
Who just
Good
cocked a
confirm, Adam.
shotgun? What just happened?
That was Adam cocking a shotgun. He's just getting ready to shoot himself. All right, good confirm, Adam. I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure it's PS3. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure Portal 2 was PS3. I don't think that
Portal
came on
2
final
is
question.
PS4.
PS3, and Valorant Game Pass, that's only for PC, not Xbox.
Okay,
Thank you for the confirm.
Yep.
Put the shotgun away. Don't take the shotgun back out.
why was there another click? CERN.
Well, he might be using for other reasons. Anybody who's
Anyway,
near him within a 50-mile radius, please run. Don't stare near him, please.
um,
I just want to let everyone know I am muted, so you're not hearing me.
oh, okay. Destinado, why do you have a shotgun?
I don't have something.
Oh, that didn't sound too convincing. Okay, that didn't sound too convincing.
Um,
Also, I'm only muted because I'm eating brownie brittle and it's really fucking loud. So,
That sounds delicious. You do
oh, it's Sheila G, baby. It's at
that.
Wegmans. It was on sale today. And I
Nice.
bought it, and I
oh,
am demolishing this bag, so I'm gonna get back to that. Bye.
oh my god.
Follow. All right. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was just so excited. I wanted to see if we can call out an emergency podcast for this because this is wild. That I mean, there's been rumors kicking around about CS2 for a hot minute, and then all of a sudden, like everything started to fall into place where people are like, wait, is this actually happening? Is it actually happening? And then Valve's just like, oh yeah, by the way, here you go. Here's your confirmation.
Well, this is why we do this, Kevin. This
Oh
is
yeah,
why we do
release
this.
date summer 2023. Yeah, that's right.
Let's
I'm
hope there's no
expecting like
delays.
June. I don't think there will be, unless, like I said, unless they encounter something major in these beta tests. I don't think there's gonna be a delay.
How many Half-Life 3 comments did we get in the CS2 announcement?
I have no idea. I didn't see anything like written by Valve. I have no idea what people have commented on this.
I'm sure there's
Uh,
tons of them. Guys, we need Half-Life 3, please.
Half-Life 3, man. Oh my God. Anyway, anybody got anything? Any questions? Any observations? I don't know who watched what. If anybody watched anything.
I seen the lighting and the graphics update for the maps, and then I seen a smoke one. That's the
Talk to
only
me.
two things that I've seen. The
Talk to me
graphics,
about the graphics and the
okay,
lighting especially.
such an upgrade from the original maps for lighting. The floor, the actual just window panes, like everything looks immaculate. Again, Call of Duty. The fuck you doing?
Hmm.
Like, look at your maps and then look at something like CS2. Like, bruh, you can do that. You can absolutely do that considering you have PS5 and Xbox Series X. Like, you can 100% do that. It's not even that hard for you to do. You
Hmm.
have the technology, do it. Like, when I was looking at some of the upgrades, they were mainly just talking about the maps that were originally very, very like dark, very monotone, had no sunlight, even though they had windows, and how the light really just changes a lot in the actual gameplay when you're going in. Like, wait, the way the light really shines off certain things, the way the light illuminates when you're underneath it, it kind of affects your vision. When I saw in the trailer as well. Um, the realism of the lighting is absolutely insane, and the way that it looks like there's a lot of ray tracing in the game because the floors are like super duper shiny. You could see like the
Hmm.
water, you could see the reflections in the water. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool looking. um the smoke grenade really just blew me away. I just looked at that and I was like, bro, I need a smoke grenade like this for every single shooter that I play. Like, can I have
Hmm.
that in Call of Duty? Can I have that in like Rainbow Six? Although I don't know if Rainbow Six has smoke grenades like that. I'm not too sure.
They have something. I know they have like the poisonous gas, which is a little different. I thought somebody had smoke grenades, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of drywall, like dust and crap, that could react similarly, but
Are any environments destructible in CS2?
I don't believe so. It didn't look like it when I was watching gameplay,
Okay.
um, which is okay as far as I'm concerned. Because if they wanted to make anything destructible, they'd have to add more to the maps. Like the maps are made where like everything is a wall, basically,
Okay.
if that makes sense. Like it's like here's your outline, and like that's it. There's no like clutter, really,
Gotcha.
because they
Gotcha.
tried that and it didn't go over well. That was Counter Strike Source when it first came out, and people got stuck in barrels and people had shit pits.
Oh, okay. What does the competitive scene look like for this game? Are there like big tournaments and things like that? Like, is
Oh
it on the
God,
level of
yeah.
Siege where like there are like nationally and internationally hosted tournaments?
There is a massive circuit that goes through Intel Extreme Masters series. There is the TBS tournament, which is actually really big now too, multi-million-dollar tournament. Good job, TBS. Um, I forget what they call that one. I think it's E League. Yeah, E League. There is something frag. I don't remember what that one was called. Then there's the Blast tournament. There's like 5 or 6 big name tournaments in Counter Strike, and they're all multi-million-dollar tournaments. Um, So yeah, very very big competitive scene. And the thing is, what's going to be wild when this drops is, like I said, strategy and tactics around these smoke grenades is going to be off the wall. So right now in the competitive scene, well, I shouldn't say right now. You go back like 4 or 5 years in the competitive scene. Um, you really didn't know who was going to win what. Teams were really even. Um, Anybody could really take anything until like certain players came on the scene and just started like crushing everybody, like Cold Zera, Kerrigan, um, then NIP when they like dissolved. NIP when they were in their prime, they were just taking everything. They had like 86 straight wins or some craziness like that. It's the longest streak in Counter Strike history, um, or at least CS:GO history if it's not the whole series. Uh, they dissolved because everybody wanted to like go out and have a real life for the most part. Then like everybody started fighting for the top spot. Now there's a few teams that are kind of like, okay, yeah, you're gonna lose because you're just not up there as far as like team tactics and team play goes. But it could definitely get back there again. Now with this dropping, everybody's gonna be like scrambling to find like the best tactics, and it's gonna be great to watch the first few tournaments because people are gonna be showing what they think is like the best strategies for maps, and the defenders might not have actually seen whatever it is, and they're gonna have to react to it. Um, or attackers are gonna have to react to the defenders setting stuff up. You can get a lot more offensive on both sides of the field with these smoke grenades, or you can really hole up really well. So I can't wait. It's gonna be wild. Oh man.
I wish I could share your excitement. I wish it was on consoles. Unfortunately, I just don't game on the PC much, and I'd
I
like to
know,
try
I
this.
know.
It's really cool looking. I want to give it a shot. Um, Anybody else have any questions for him about
That's
CS2?
no. What you got? You watch anything?
I did not watch anything.
Nah, nah. Joking.
At least he's, at
um,
least he's honest. You know, at least he doesn't lie like me.
I
Oh,
think from what I've heard though, it's the correct way to update this type of game. Um, a prime example of the incorrect way of updating a game and making a sequel for it would be Overwatch 2.
ooh, good point.
Um, yeah, because I see League of Legends, they have not done a sequel entry ever for the past 12, I think almost 13 years now, which, that's fine too. The game's still, well and alive. Um, but I see CSGO in a similar way where this would, update the engine, everybody keeps their stuff, everything gets moved over. It's more of a large update, like you said, and that's definitely all this game needs because the game is kind of dated now, I think.
Hmm.
It definitely came out a while ago.
Like
So,
2012.
yeah, I think, yeah, right a little bit after League came out, which is I think like 2010.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, they're going about the right way, um, doing this. It's pretty good, pretty cool stuff.
Interesting point that you brought there, though, with the League of Legends. Maybe you should get a update to a numbered sequel. There's
I mean,
a
they don't have to, right? The way they've been doing their thing is every season the game kind of changes, in some way. Either the map changes, the um the jungle changes, items change, champions get buffed and nerfed,
but like
things get added.
for the big
Yeah.
games like this, do you I mean, this is a question for the panel too. Do you think that maybe at some point a numbered sequel is necessary? Like one that I know like is not as long standing as these titles, but has gotten a numbered sequel is Destiny. Destiny and originally came out and it was like that for a few years to I would say almost like 5 or 6 years. It was the same way, and then Destiny 2 got announced, and there's your numbered sequel. Not everything exactly transferred over, probably like how CS:GO is to CS2. Um, but do we as a panel think that that is a necessity for games because they can get dated? Things like Warcraft, you know, Mighty Keith had mentioned in one of his videos as a skit. He was like, World of Warcraft 2, like what? Microsoft saying, "Oh, we could do something like that." Like that's just if CS:GO is something that is so old, Kevin mentioned before, it's like what 12, 13 years at this point.
Hmm.
Um, Now it's getting a numbered sequel. What other games, or do we think most of these older games need a sequel update or a sequel to it?
I mean, I feel like if you're gonna make an update, like okay, let's go Rainbow Six Siege 2, if that
Sure,
were to come out,
that's a good
has
example.
to come out with everything they put in the game so far, right? Like I feel like
Hmm.
it has to have all those operators. They're all so pivotal now to like game balance and things. But if there were gonna be a Rainbow Six Siege 2, um, you would definitely be looking at like the back end is being upgraded. So like maybe the server architecture is upgraded, maybe the matchmaking like math and formulae and everything are all updated. You get ray tracing in there. You get a different graphics engine. You update to DirectX like 12, 13, 14, whatever the hell is out at the time. Um, and you just do a whole bunch of like not all cosmetic, but like the bare bones. Upgrade the bare bones of the game and build so that you can build a new something on top of it. Like okay, Path of Exile 2. So Path of Exile, there was no reason for this game to get a 2. So when Path of Exile 2 was announced, everybody was just sort of like, wait, but why? Like what? But then the developers did something, right? They said, I don't know, Path of Exile 2 is taking over for Path of Exile 1 because all the Path of Exile 1's in there, but the systems that are in place right now, we've exhausted. We can't actually develop more. So we need to rethink and remake everything so that we can continue to add on to this game because we just ran out of tools to use and we have all these amazing ideas for new bones for this game. So this is
Hmm.
where Path of Exile 2 comes in. I think when you reach that point, that's when you do what you're talking about. And to Destino's credit, I don't think League of Legends has hit that point yet. If
That's a
they
good
wanted
point.
to
Yeah.
introduce like new game modes or something, they wanted to get away from like the ARAM and Summoner's Rift, because even like Teamfight Tactics isn't that far removed from the base game. But if they wanted to do something like truly wild, I don't know what that would be. A battle royale, I don't know. Like then maybe you make a League of Legends 2 and change the architecture of the game to allow for new stuff. But like other than that, I don't really think these massive games need to change. That's my two
Okay.
cents.
Okay. Okay. I'll throw in a different example. What about a game like what we're sitting in right now, Minecraft? If there's a Minecraft too, you think that's needed at all?
Probably not.
I mean, we throw something other than a shooter in here right now because all we've been talking about is shooters, right? So throw something like this. It's this is not a shooter, but do you think that this is? I mean, this has been around for what? Got to be over 10 years at this point.
Oh, it
12
is.
years?
Oh yeah.
12, 13 years, just like CSGO?
I think it's longer than that. Well, I don't know. It just depends on how far back you go. I don't remember when the like actual official release of Minecraft was, because there was a lot of like test versions before
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't think this changes. I don't think you need a
Okay.
Minecraft 2.
Okay.
Like it already kind of is its own sandboxy thing, so you just keep adding more shit to it. Unless
Just keep
like,
making it bigger.
yeah, I mean, unless at some point you get to a point where like the game can't handle how big it is, or like how many options are in it,
So you
or it
change the
starts crashing
platform or
worlds
something,
left
like
and
the
right. Yeah,
engine or
then you,
something.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
So basically, back to your point of when you're exhausted out of your tools and your resources, and you need to go and
That's what I
evolve
think.
to
Just no, no.
something
What do you
different.
think for like the whole of this?
Hmm.
You don't go to from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 in the way they did. We know that much.
Yeah, that's probably the worst way to go about it. um, I mean, I've played Overwatch 2 as well, and I mean, it's not a bad game. It's just it just feels like the first game
Hmm.
for the most part. It's it looks slightly better, but everything looks the same for the most part. Like they even updated some character models for some reason. Um, and you could change it back to like the Overwatch 1 skins. Um, the only thing they I mean, I guess the only thing you had was like you could roll your skins over from the first game to the second one if you logged in with the same account. But um hmm,
I think this is
this
an
seems
interesting
like a
question.
special case
Hmm.
because they're doing a lot more than just um putting a 2 at the end of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of games need more than just a 2 at the end of it to be different. Uh, like if we talk about League and the situation for League's weird because they've taken away I think a lot of the choice in this game in general over the years. So there used to be a mode called Dominion.
Oh, I
There
love
used to
that
be a
one.
mode called Twisted Tree Line, which was a 3v3.
Oh, that's gone.
Yeah,
Oh,
Twisted Tree Line's
with
gone.
the
Dominion was
spider.
a yeah.
You did like what the hell was the Easter egg? You do like slash dance and it tries to dance with you or something like that.
Yeah. um Dominion was I think it was a free for all game where you had to like control I think I forget like the
I think it was like capture points, right?
yeah, you had to capture
On the
points
crystal skull,
yeah
not crystal
for
skull,
longer than
the crystal
unless it was
sands
a
area or whatever.
Unless it was also like a 2v2 or 3v3 or something, but it
If
might
I'm
have
thinking
been
of the same mode, it
2v2.
was 2 teams,
It's a
maybe
giant
three.
circle map.
Yeah, big circle in the desert, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But there was something else going on too, along with those points, because weren't you able to like pick up power-ups or something?
Yeah, there were like random things scattered on the map to pick up, and it'll
Yeah.
give you like movement speed or like bonus AD or AP or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh,
and then
fun
you
mode.
can, yeah, and then you can go back to the shop and buy stuff and yeah. So they took those two game modes out. There used to be apparently there used to be I think there used to be like a different version of Twisted Tree Line before that one that I played, and that's not there. They have switched to a revolving game mode type of system where every, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, it varies a lot of the time, they'll put in uh, all for one or
Mm.
one for all, where everybody plays the same champion on your team. And they've also rotated in ultra rapid fire mode where all the cooldowns for every champion's abilities is reduced by 80%. Um, which also comes in every 3 to 6 months, but they never put in a new mode permanently like they had for Twisted Tree Line Dominion.
Yeah.
And what they've done instead, I guess, is they made new games like TFT, Wild Rift, um, and that other. I think it's like a. I don't know if it's a visual novel type game or like an action or like an RPG type game they made.
Oh, are you talking about like the Ruined King?
Yeah, yeah,
The thing
yeah. The
that's
Rune King.
like Darkest Dungeon, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then there's another thing that they're releasing too, isn't it? Like there's like a card game or something? No, that's Legends of Runeterra. Right?
Actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. That is
Yeah,
the card game.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's out as well.
But there's another newer game.
I think
Hold
they're
on, I think it's on the
supposed
PlayStation Store.
to.
I'll go looking for it. Keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, so it's. I guess they've diversified the League into different games instead of just having League by itself, but kind of sucks how they took away the choice of different
The
game modes.
Mage
Now there's
Seeker.
only. Ah, that sounds familiar.
You have like a whip. It's kind of like a Hades almost looking game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's it.
Hmm. Well, yeah. I don't know. Every season I feel like has changed so far, except for the most recent season. Hasn't really changed too much, other than like the jungle being extra strong. Um, Whereas before they'd be adding different objectives, they'd be changing the dragon, they'd be changing what the Baron does, they'd be changing what spawns before Baron. Um, yeah, this most recent season's been kind of lackluster. Um, but I guess to get back to the original point, League
Good.
probably doesn't need a sequel, but they definitely need to change maybe a bit more of the game than they did this most recent season, I feel like. Or add back some game modes. Like, people used to play that stuff. It's not like it was zero players for Dominion and
Mm-hmm.
Twisted Tree Line. People would still play those different game modes. Now all you have is ARAM, normal, and ranked on the same normal map. And the rotating game mode that comes out every quarter of a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right.
to go. Oh, I'm sorry. You asked a really good question. You mentioned Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. See,
Hmm.
now this I saw it as like a very different thing. It wasn't just like, hey guys, we're making Destiny 2. It was more of like Destiny 1 had a very rocky existence. Um, there were people who were like really into it, and there were people who were like, what the hell is this shit? And Destiny 2 was kind of like Bungie saying, all right, we've gone a chunk of the way. We've gotten a lot of really good criticisms, and you know what? We're gonna take all this. We're gonna rebrand it. We got Destiny 2, and we're gonna start over again almost from here. And you know what? Everybody in the Destiny like space, they were like, hey, you know what? Good job. You actually like listened. You did pretty good here. And then it kind of fell apart over time, but yeah, it's okay. Just don't look too close. So,
Mm.
but that's the way I saw Destiny 2 at least. Um, was that they were just sort of like, all right, well, we gotta start over, or at least make it seem like we're starting over, in order to get people back.
I think I'd agree with you. Destiny 2 needed a overhaul where they know they were essentially like they had limited themselves of what they originally did with Destiny 1. Um, and they're like, we need to do something completely different. The only thing that I don't like with Destiny is that they didn't let you carry every single thing over,
Mm-hmm.
along with that you a lot of the original story elements are missing. So like it's not like they adapted Destiny 1 into 2. It's
Gotcha.
more like they just made you forget Destiny 1 existed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that in my opinion. If you're gonna do that, like that's another example of what not to do
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
when you're making a sequel. Um, and it's also it wasn't a free update. You had to pay for that. That was like, okay, you want Destiny 2? Give us another $60 for this game.
Mm-hmm.
It might not even be 60. It might have been like 50 or something like that. But again, it's that's just not the way to do it. Just not.
Yep.
And I applaud Counter Strike even more for doing it the way they did. Right way to do it. Right way to do it.
Yep.
You got any closing thoughts, Kevin?
I no, not really. I think I've already listed it all.
What are
To
your
be honest.
hopes and aspirations for this?
Oh,
What is the
oh,
biggest thing you're hoping from this?
God, I don't even know. I guess what what would I be hoping for here? Um, you know what? No, you know what? I hope that through the course of this, we get frickin' casual competitive back. Because right now, you either have the casual mode, which auto buys armor and or armor and a helmet for you at no expense, and then you have competitive mode where you have ranked play. But if you want to just like practice for competitive using the true competitive rule set, um, you can't really do it right now. You can't like play a game where you also have to buy armor and a helmet, which is really confusing because it was in the game when it first launched, and then they were just like, "No, we're getting rid of this," and everybody was like, "Huh? Why?
Mm,
Why do we have to play with a different like rule set than ranked competitive play?" Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So hopefully that comes back. I guess that really be the only thing I'm looking forward to. Unless they also have plans to bring back Miami, that would be huge. Miami was on the Xbox Counter Strike, and it hasn't been in PC ever. Even though Miami was like one of the most revered maps on the Xbox version, and everybody's been like, "How come this map hasn't come back?" Um, but aside from that, I think everything that like they've shown so far, I never would have seen coming, never would have guessed that I wanted, but now that I've seen it, I need it. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I get it.
It's gonna
I
be
get
great.
it.
I can't wait.
All right. Adam, you got anything you want to talk about here, or I guess we're gonna close out this emergency podcast.
Nope.
All righty. Well, with that being said. Thank you everybody for tuning in to our emergency podcast for Counter-Strike 2 being announced. Um, we'll see you guys on Tuesday at a normal time, unless something else happens. Maybe Half-Life 3 gets announced, or Infamous 3 gets announced, or
Metroid
Metro
Prime
Prime
4.
4. Yeah, Metro Prime
Oh
4
my
has a
God,
has a
let's
has
break
another
the internet.
trailer,
Let's go. Let's announce
or
more.
Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out with a new trailer. If anything of that happens, you'll have
CS6
an.
was announced.
Oh damn! Oh,
I like how Infamous 3 is the least likely out of everything you listed.
I mean,
Disappointing.
it could be. Who knows?
Well, Metro Prime 4 is real, and so is Kingdom Hearts 4, so that's whatever. Whatever, man.
Okay, Infamous remasters.
It's still the least likely. The other ones are announced.
Yeah, the other
PC2
ones
will
have
be
been
announced.
confirmed.
No,
You're not making this easy for me, are you?
You did it to
I thought I was
yourself.
gonna get a chuckle out of Genesis from that, you piece of shit. Probably didn't even hear what I said.
Something else you said.
I said
Case.
PC2.
Oh, PC2. What the hell's PC2?
I don't know.
Personal computer 2, they finally did
that'll
it.
get that'll get announced.
That's
PC
a that's a
2.0.
that's a topic for next week. Do we need
Steve
a
Jobs is
sequel
like,
to
I
the
didn't really
PC?
die. I was working on the personal computer 2. It's like, what? And he's like, nah, I'm just kidding. I am dead.
What
Oh,
would the
good.
operating system be?
PC2?
Windows 95.
My God, yes. I was trying to think of like
Windows XP 2.
what's the square. Oh,
Oh!
I gotta admit that would be something that I'm like, yes, this
Windows
makes
XD.
Oh god, Disney owns it now.
boy oh boy. All right, well, we'll see you guys on Tuesday, same time, same place.
I'm Raven Baxter, and you're trying to hit the start button.
what?
A Disney Channel reference?
Yeah, Disney XD. That's what
Oh,
the
That makes
Disney
sense.
joke I made originally was, and then Raven threw the start button because you're on Windows. And never mind, it's not important. I really thought
all right.
everybody was
Well,
with me, and then all of a sudden you weren't there, and I was
well,
confused. But
if
whatever.
any of these incredible game announcements happen, you'll catch us again. But until then, we'll see you Tuesday. This is Crafting a Chat signing off for tonight. Everybody take care. Have a nice night.